Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Will from Phase 2, and this is the Phase 2 podcast. This is episode 4. Glad you could take some time out to watch this video today. I've been a bit busy the last couple of weeks. My girlfriend recently broke her foot running, so I've been taking care of her for the last month or so. Basically needed to do everything for her because when you break your foot, it's a real nasty thing. You can't really do much. She can't drive, she can't cook, she can't clean, so it's basically been all hands on deck for the last month, and she's almost done recuperating. That's going to be really nice for both of us. In the meantime, I've done some skating recently. I went to Livingston Skate Park with a friend of mine, and we had a couple sessions last week. The first session, we just basically cruised around and did some basic stuff and hyped each other up a little bit on some curb tricks, I was feeling good, no slams that day. We got a couple of clips, so I'll put those up later in the week for everybody to see. That was a nice little day. A couple days later, we went again in the morning, and I was trying to line, and I took a pretty nasty slam. It kind of looked worse than it was, but it still wasn't fun. Slams definitely don't get easier as you're getting older. I'm pretty good on slams. Like, my main thing with slams is hitting my head. That's the most scary part for me. I'm not really scared of breaking my finger or my foot or my leg, knock on wood, but I don't know, things with your brain. Definitely better to be wearing a helmet out there. Basically what happened was I was doing a line where I was doing like a slappy nose slide on this little curb to regular, coming around a bend, doing a half cab, and then going down a hill, rolling down a hill. And then at the bottom of that hill, there was a little bank, like a medium bank, and I was doing a front side shove it on there. So I did the line once off camera, and it wasn't like exactly how I wanted it, but I did it. And so later on in the session, when I was a little bit more worn out, I asked my buddy, hey, you want to film that line before we leave? And he was cool with it. And so, I don't know, I tried it for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then I had one attempt where I rolled down the hill and I did my front shove and I pushed it a little forward, and it kind of got hung up on the lip of the bank and caused me to kind of stop in my tracks, and I shot backwards and the board flew off the bank. Kind of like fell completely down the bank. Luckily I didn't fall to flat. My buddy fell to flat though earlier that day. So we both took a couple of slams, but it was okay. Those were like the first slams of the season. You're always going to take a few of them. This is like the first time I've been on a board in like a month. Like I said, I've been real busy with that and just I've been in recovery for alcohol, so that's been over a month now. I've been sober from that, and I'm feeling real good from it. No real cravings anymore. That shit kind of ended like the third week. I was having like probably the peak of the cravings was like 2 weeks. And then after the third week, it just was like, that would be nice. And then now I don't really even think about it. So feeling good from that. And I hope everybody else that's on their sober and recovery journey is having a good time with it as well and feeling good every day. Other than that, I've been just watching a lot of skate videos. I watch a lot of classic skate videos, and my favorite one this month is probably Vicious Cycle. Zoo York came out with. It was kind of like a promo video, and I think it came out like it came out between 03 and 06. I can't really remember right off my head right now, but great video. Zared Bassett has one of the best parts of all time. He seriously destroys the Nassau Community College rail. I'm from Long Island, and that rail is like famous to me. If you're from Long Island, like it's like a thing to go ollie the Nassau 10 or do anything on it really. I only ever ollied it, and hopefully I could be able to post that clip one day. I was like 16, and it's kind of a gnarly set too. It hits you kind of hard, and you're coming. I had one attempt where I think my board got like twisted up at the end, and I hit the ground, and there was like sparks flew off my board, and it's kind of a beast 10 set. He really destroys that thing. There's a couple of guys, there's people now. Frankie Spears also, he messed that thing up recently. um, and that's just a great rail. So whenever I see that rail, I get excited. Gino Iannucci did Switch Flip down that set back in the day. He got the Thrasher cover, I think, for that one, and it was either I think it was Thrasher or Transworld, but I believe Thrasher. And so that's just always like represent when I see somebody doing something on that staircase. They made the trip to Old Long Island to do that, so I always respect that. Vicious Cycle is a great video. It has parts from Zared Bassett. It has a fun part from Harold Hunter in there. He was like getting toward the end of his career at this point. I think this might have been the last part that he put out before he passed away. Another favorite part that I had in that video was Eli Reed's part. He had that, I think it was Big Daddy Kane's song, Smooth Operator, and that was just a really perfect song for his style at the time. He had the big jerseys on and the fitteds, and he just had a really nice, smooth New York style on the board, and that whole video is just great. Definitely check that out if you're looking for some nostalgic, like 2000 skateboarding. That's just like peak of it right there, especially if you want to look at some East Coast skateboarding. It's not really big, huge hammers, except for Zared's part. Zared's part, he somehow finds all the California style shit on the East Coast to do in that part. So if you ever want to see an East Coast guy skate like a West Coast guy, watch Vicious Cycle. You'll definitely enjoy it. So I had a little bit of skateboard video game talk I wanted to get into. My buddy, I recently heard about Skate 4 coming out, and I wasn't really into video games that much when I've been into video games my whole life. I started with the Sega Genesis, and then I think I've gone all the way up through all the generations of consoles. I've had at least one console from each generation, but at this particular time, I think I was probably 8, 9. I don't really remember when Skate 3 came out, but I was in like my late teens or early 20s, and I really wasn't like focused on gaming at that point. And so I knew a couple people that had Skate. I would try to jump on. I was awkward with the like controls because I was used to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Later I got good at it because I started to understand what the hell was going on. But at this time I wasn't really that into it, and so later on I bought a copy of Skate 3 used, and it's an awesome game. I had a great time playing that game. I played it for like, I don't know, a year or two just by myself, and I love that game. It's great. And so I was sad to hear about Skate 4 having all the paid service model things going on, because I just feel like that takes the fun right out of it, because it's always in the background what it's modeled on. And I think that just, even though it's a good game, probably, I haven't even played it yet, and I have friends that have played it and they say that it's good and it's worth playing. And I like the fact that they mentioned that, since it's completely online, that you're skating with other people that are real all the time. I think that's a pretty cool aspect of it. But as an old school gamer and someone that grew up on PlayStation 2, I just recently went and bought a PlayStation 2 because that is my favorite console. Every time I turn that thing on, it's like, this is video games to me. You hear that main boot up sound and you're like, yep, these are video games. And just, I love systems that allow you to have ownership. I like having ownerships in my games. I like being able to sell my games again, make a little money back for the exorbitant prices that we pay for these games. And I'll be very sad if they get rid of physical games completely, and I probably won't even game unless it's like something that's like completely something that I can't live without, and that's getting less and less as I have gotten back into gaming the last few years, and I was really excited about it. Probably the last 10 years I've been back into gaming. PS3 was a great system. That was like my introduction back into gaming, and I loved PS3. And that I held that thing down for like close to 10 years until a buddy of mine gave me a PS4, and now I play that and I love it. And now I'm thinking, yeah, I want to get a PS5, but now we have all these streaming games, and so that takes me back to the Skate 4 thing. I just don't know if I like that. Every time I read something about it, it's like, oh, I had to grind 50 hours to just get the opportunity to buy a thing. Like, they don't even just give it to you. You got to grind 50 hours to even get the mech suit option. And then, I don't know what they got. So, if I end up playing the game, I'll probably be one of the guys that, in real life, I wear a white tee and jeans anyway. So as long as they have that option for the skater, then that's I'll just stay there. And as long as what would make it whack is if they started, I don't know if this is the thing with it, but if they made it so like you had to unlock tricks and you had to pay for it. So like, that would be super whack if like you had to grind and then you had to buy a 360 flip, So hopefully they don't start doing stuff like that, because as far as the outfit things go, like, I don't really care what I'm wearing. It's just a video game. I think there are a lot of people that care about that, but I think most people just want a smooth playing game that gives them a good simulation of skating. A lot of people that don't skate want to play these games so that they can live vicariously. If you're bugging the game up with all these things they're trying to sell you constantly, then it's just taking away from the immersion of it. If I wanted a skate shop simulator where I was spending real money, I'd just go to a skate shop. So, but I will be playing the game, and I'll report back after I play it and give a true review. But I just wanted to say a couple of things of what I thought based on what I've seen about it. But at the end of the day, as long as they're still making games about skating and they're focusing on skateboarding, then I think it's a good thing. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was the X Games Skate League that I heard was being developed. And it's very interesting. Interesting concept. For the last decade or so, there's been a couple of entities that are trying to really, not really, corporatize skateboarding, but also bring it into a mainstream where it's more comparable to a competitive sport like football or basketball. So what it seems like to me is that X Games is looking at what SLS has done and looking at what Mike Mokapaldi has done with I think it's PSL, Professional Skateboard League, and they're looking at that model. And I guess Mike Mo must be doing pretty good with that if somebody like the X Games, those corporations are looking at that model and going, this is something that we need to do. Plus, I see they reworked their logo a little bit. I don't know if that's going to be their new universal logo, or if it's going to be just a logo that's attributed to the Skate League. But either way, it's very interesting, all the work that they're doing to try to keep up with the other corporate skate competitions. And I don't know, I feel that they already had their own thing going. X Games is a premier skate competition for many years. That's like, I don't know, kind of on par with the skate industry. They have respect already, I feel like, in the skate industry. Once you're in X Games, you're top tier skateboarding, and I feel that they have that already. So for them to be doing something creative in this way that could possibly backfire on them is just very interesting. Hopefully it doesn't backfire on them. And the model is interesting. I heard that they're supposed to be doing like state skate teams, or like each state's going to have their a skate team or of some kind, comparable to like a basketball team. And I've also heard that they might produce their own boards for these teams, which is very interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. But hey, I mean, if it gets people skateboarding, I think it'll be cool. I don't know if your average skateboarder is going to agree with the corporatized version of what you're trying to do there. The thing is, there's always going to be two groups in skateboarding, and it's very hard to get the two groups to agree on where they want it to go. They're not passing their budget. Um, you've got the group of guys, the Nijas, the Utos, and all of those guys who, they're fucking great skateboarders and they love the spotlight, And then you've got guys that are amazing skateboarders and they're in the street and they couldn't care less about that. So trying to get to those guys, you're always only getting half the market, I feel like, with skating. With any, it's very, very rare. I don't know if I know any company that's gotten all of the market with skating, Like Nike's pretty much got all the market with basketball, Not, I know there's other companies, but, you know what I mean. Like, but, because people in basketball, they're not going, Nike's corporate, people in basketball, they want to be that, So there's too much of a disparity between people that want to be that corporate model and the people that don't. And so I feel that these companies, they come out, but they're only ever getting half the market share with their products, and it's very difficult. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that X Games Skate League when it comes out. PSL is very interesting to me. I don't know. I have a hard time. Maybe it's just because it's in the early stages of it, but I have a hard time keeping up with that event. Especially because there's only one obstacle. I think I just get bored watching, just go down an 8 stair over and over again. I think I'd rather watch flat competitions for some reason. It's more interesting to me to just watch people do crazy flat tricks than even just do, switch heel flips and try to point each other on an 8 stair. Like for me, that model, I don't find, I look at skateboarding more as an art form, where I want to see different things, every minute that somebody's on the board. I don't want to sit there and watch somebody do kickflips over and over again. That's something that you have to do in order to become a good skateboarder, but I don't want to watch it. I'm not gonna, if my buddy said, hey dude, I'm gonna be practicing, 100 kickflips today, that's all I'm gonna do, then I'm gonna find somebody else to skate with. I'm just kidding. I'd skate with anybody, but I'm gonna be bored, and I think you need that kind of practice the same trick every day skating every once in a while to maintain consistency, but it's not the kind of skating that's like really fun to do with another person. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll be back next week with another one. See everybody later.